General more than a year ago. Better late than never.
Willie, I'm surrounded. Most of the people that I see every day are voting for Donald Trump. Most of the friends I grew up with are voting for Donald Trump. And it's good talking to them and just saying, so why are you voting for this man? Oh, well, he's a terrible guy. He's a horrible example for my kids. I'd never invite him over to the house. He's despicable. I hate him. I just hate him. But, and then fill in the blank, AOC, or Nancy Pelosi, or Bernie Sanders, or regulations, or tax cuts, or 401ks. And I said, well, we have right now a president of the United States who is demanding that his attorney general arrest the vice president, former vice president of the United States, his chief political competitor. This is something that happened in the former Soviet Union. This is something that happens still in Russia. This is not what soft totalitarian looks like. This is what a full-blown autocracy looks like, at least if you just focus on the actions of the president of the United States. And you're telling me you're more concerned about Nancy Pelosi as outside of the White House than you are an autocrat inside of the White House? It's really, there's the justifications from, again, my friends, are extraordinary. But this is just one of 100 examples that we could cite that shows just this massive disconnect between what are actions that the president's taking that are un-American and the justification for voting for this man who is trying to arrest his political rivals on the eve of what he believes to be an election defeat.
Part of the challenge of the Trump years has been that there are so many outrageous claims and there are so many outrageous statements from the president that it's hard to stop sometimes and look one in the eye before the next one comes. But as you say, right now, the president of the United States, less than 2 weeks ahead of the election, is calling for the Attorney General of the United States to launch an investigation that I think he somehow thinks will be resolved before the end election day in some way, or at least just to muddy the waters before election day. And he goes farther than that at his rallies, calling for Joe Biden to be locked up. You get the sense if he could, he would direct Attorney General Barr to just throw Joe Biden into prison and be on with it. But this is a man, Donald Trump, who is desperate. This is a man who's looking at the polls. This is a man who's spending his days calling for Joe Biden to be locked up, attacking a 60 Minutes interviewer, attacking debate moderators, anything he can do to change the conversation from coronavirus, which is what will decide this election, perhaps to his peril.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering, Mika, really, so if somebody says, well, you know, Donald Trump will probably be better for my 401k than Joe Biden, even though Moody's and others on Wall Street suggest that's really not the case, because we'll have stability in the White House. We'll have stability in the markets. We'll have stability in trade negotiations. We'll have stability across the globe. But even if they make that argument, so, you know, the 401k maybe went down 20% this year. Are they saying that electing a president who's trying to arrest his political opponent in America 2 weeks before an election, are they saying that maybe they'd lose 25% of their 401k under Biden, but 20% under Trump, and that 5% is worth throwing away American democracy on a guy who claims to have unlimited powers because of Article 2, a guy that questions the federal judiciary's independence, and a guy who is trying the best he can to have his political opponent arrested 2 weeks before a free election. And let me remind you all, my friends and loved ones, in the United States of America, not in Belarus, not in Hungary, not in Russia, in the United States of America. What is worth that? I've heard also, Mika, this other excuse. The press is liberal. So, okay, so you're voting for a guy who's trying to arrest his political opponent because you don't like what Don Lemon says on CNN? You want to appoint a man who says he has unlimited powers and can do whatever he wants to do and calls for the arrests of journalists who question him like Jeff Mason and also, well, like me, repeatedly. You're going to vote for him because Lawrence O'Donnell makes you mad? Because you don't like the New York Times? It really, there is no logic to it. This is you desperately trying to justify something that you know can't really rationally be justified. I haven't even gotten to the racism, to the Muslim registry, to the president calling Hispanics breeders. I haven't even gotten to that. I haven't even gotten to Charlottesville, to the president telling white supremacists to, quote, stand by, to the president talking about assassinating his political rivals with Second Amendment solutions to stop them from appointing judges to the Supreme Court. Haven't even gotten through 4 or 5 years of violent rhetoric. I haven't even talked about the president of the United States saying that he would not guarantee, repeatedly in debates, the peaceful transfer of power. He did eventually, after the 5th or 6th time.
Not really.
But, yeah, it's always sort of, oh, yeah, sure, I'll guarantee that.
There.
But what about Antifa? What about this? What about that? And so I haven't even talked about all of those things. And you add it up. This is a man, and you know this, would be an autocrat if he could.
Well,
would be a dictator if he could. You know that. You said that to me. Many of you have said you know that if he loses, he can't leave America because our government would be afraid that he would sell state secrets, our most classified secrets, to other countries. Some of you tell me you think he's going to end up in jail, but you're going to vote for him anyway. You know, I'm Tom Hanks in Big. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Well,
I don't get it. You're my best friends. You're my family members. And you're going to believe garbage that you read on Facebook.
They don't even care that
you still
he accused you of murder
11
tried
times
to get you investigated.
You still are telling me, even though I've told you repeatedly it's a lie and sent you evidence, you're still saying you may not take a vaccine next year because Anthony Fauci has a financial stake in it. That's just a lie. And I love you, but you have to be really, really stupid or willfully ignorant if you still believe that lie, because it's not the truth. You just send Facebook posts to each other that exacerbate these lies.
Facebook.
It's really something. But yeah, Mika, but.
Well, this is what Madeleine Albright warned about. It's the fire hose of corruption and ugliness that comes at you from a person with so much power like President Trump, who can turn this country into a very different place.
Well, and this is a challenge. This is a challenge for democracy. And again, I'm not talking about people over there.
No.
I'm talking about friends and loved ones, again, who
we got it.
Would give their lives for me, for my family. And yet they're still voting for me. It's something, again, I'm reminded, and, you know, Willie and I often on Friday nights when, you know, you're out with your bowling league, Mika, Willie and I often get together, and you and Christina are bowling, and we'll sit and we'll watch a river run through it, and we'll weep at the end when Tom Skerritt says that sometimes we have to completely love those we don't completely understand. And that's what I work on every day now, especially for the next 2 weeks.
Okay.